Series 60. I want to. So I've got 120 cannon and 1500 machine gun. That's not so good, is it? Very flickery. That is not normal. I'm tempted to, as much of a hassle as it is, I'm tempted to restart because it's really not going very well. But maybe we'll just try and press on. Mixture rich. Radiator full open. And the other radiator full open. Ready to press E. Set the throttle in the right place. That flickering is most peculiar. Okay, that's something. Lights on, external lights on. There's like probably 10 allies and 10 Axis on the map at the moment. Where am I going to take off? Probably not straight ahead, although I could. I'll go off to the right there. This is the plane that I was trying to fly last night, but there was 84 players on the server out of a maximum possible of 84. So they'd all taken the Yaks already. It's not like it's my favourite plane, but I'd been practicing on flying this plane, and so I was dead set that I wanted to fly this plane. It just wasn't available. With any luck, we won't hit any artillery piece on the takeoff. I'm sorry about that flickering, but yeah, let's just call this a practice run. I anticipate that I'll probably have to restart at some point, but see how we go. There's well over 200 k's an hour. Gear up. So this plane is good in the sense that you can cruise along at 100% RPM, prop RPM, propeller RPM, and 100% power with the radiators both full open, and you can do that indefinitely. You can do that until the fuel runs out, in my experience. Pretty close to the action already, so I'll head over to the ships and I'll see what's going on. Hopefully catch a bomber. And let's turn that light off. The flickering that was at the airfield seems to have abated. In fact, I can't see it at all now, so that's very good. Hopefully that was just a teething problem for this session. Track IR seems to be working well. I'm sitting slightly lower in the cockpit than I would like, but let's see again how we go. What is that? That's probably a Peshka. Should I go and check it out? I don't think that's an Axis. I think that's an Allied fighter heading back to the base that I just took off from. I've got 70% fuel, so I can cruise along at high power for quite a long duration. Nothing worse than running out of fuel right when there's a fight to be had. But also nothing worse than arriving at a fight with too much fuel weighing you down. Alright, so we got this huge lake here off to my left. I'm about to cross the front line. I might just mosey on over to the front line and straddle it and see if I can see anything going on. This plane, it can outturn the Axis fighters, but it can't catch them in a straight line or in a climb. So it's definitely a close-in dogfighter. It has 2 machine guns in the nose, and it has a cannon in the spinner. Cannon, I think, what was it, 200 rounds, I think, of 20mm. And then the machine guns, they're pretty lightweight. They're like rifle caliber machine guns, probably equivalent of 7.62 or 303 caliber, around 8mm. My ships should be off to my right somewhere. And I can't really see anything going on. Alright, there's the first ship. That's one of my ships. If I fly anywhere near the enemy ships, it would be pointless because I'm not carrying any bombs, and I'd get shot by the AAA. There's a pretty big landmark up ahead. It's a bridge right there. No enemies on the horizon yet. There's an enemy ship. It's a big landmass. The maps are absolutely huge in IL-2, which is one thing I really like about them. And right now there's only about 10 enemies on this whole map. So I can probably be pretty aggressive in covering long distances in order to actually find someone to fight. So what I'm going to do now is pretty much keep a wide berth from the ships, but head on over to the enemy airfield that's just behind the ships. It's not too far away. Alright, so I've got that airfield up there. Sola di Lovo, that's where I'm headed. See if I can find anyone taking off and gun them down. I literally cleaned the inside of my computer with a vacuum cleaner today. It's winter time here, and it was covered in, what do we got there? It was covered in dust from my wood heater. Not good. That looks like one of my guys that's dropped some ordnance on one of their ships. He's just gone outside of visual range. I'd say that's an IL-2. Got the enemy airfield off over here somewhere. Alright, I can see a plane. He's probably just taking off or landing at the airfield. Probably taking off. If I keep low, less chance of him seeing me. Bit too close to the airfield. There it is right there. I'm way too close. I'm going to get shot in a sec by the AAA, I think. There was a plane there and it's disappeared. What does that mean? It either means that it's landed or it's just unspawned, or it's still there but I've lost it. One of those three. Shit, there he is. Nice turn, nice turn, nice turn. Hopefully I'll see him. I see his shadow. Keep the nice turn up. There. He's a decoy. I better watch out. Hits. Got him with an MG. Yeah, he was a decoy. Two of them on me. There's another. That's the one I got before. Might have got him just then as well. Oh no, he's on me. One of them's on me. So it's basically 2 against 1 right now, but I can outturn them. He's taking shots with his cannon. Might have to bail. Alright, I'm bailing. And at least it's a good bailout. I got some hits. I did get some hits. Yeah, not bad for a first go. Let's try one more. Hopefully the flickering issue's finished at the airfield. So basically I took off here at this one here, and I flew up to the ships, flew across here to this airfield, and did a really dangerous thing. I engaged the enemy at their airfield on their home turf type thing, and there was one with his lights on that was a decoy, easy for me to see, hoping that I'll fly to him, and of course easy for his buddy to see where he is because he's got his lights on. So I shot the decoy a bit, but then I got into a fight with the two of them there, so that's how that went down. This could be a problem. Alright, great. "12 players on the Soviet Union side, 11 players on the Germany side." So it's pretty even, not too many players at this time. I had to go right to their airfield to find a fight. Brian J, you said, made my heart skip for a sec. Yeah, it's actually a little bit adrenaline inducing doing multiplayer, person versus person, which is kind of good. So go through the start sequence again. That's the prop now for a radiator. There we go. Now for the other radiator. What I'm doing in the startup sequence, it's all based on what's, I think people call it the techno chat. It's those messages on the right hand side of the screen that are in percentage. They're very handy. You sort of don't have to be too technically expert to fly any of these planes, provided that you've got the techno chat switched on. You can see the status of all the instruments. You do need to memorize some of the keyboard stuff. It's mostly using plus and minus, and a combination of like Alt plus or minus, Control plus or minus, and Shift plus or minus, and sometimes Windows key plus or minus. That's basically what I'm using there to start the plane. Lights on, and Control L for external lights. And last time I took off over there, that's what I'll do this time. You see how when I engaged that 109, I didn't even try and use my cannon. I only used my small caliber, my machine guns, and the reason for that was because I didn't have a clear shot on him. He was too far away. I only really used my cannon when I'm close up. I'm sitting too low in the cockpit, but oh well. Looking for 200 kilometers an hour, then I'm going to rotate. There we go. Gear up. Track IR is working nicely. One thing I could have done better at the airfield was the moment that I saw that dot off in the distance, I should have glued my eyes onto it and slowly flown closer and not lost sight of it, because what I did there was I saw it and then I decided to change course and go a bit further away from the airfield, and in doing so I completely lost track of the dot. Let me start again. I completely lost track of the dot, and then the next time that I saw it, it was coming at me, shooting at me. So, tip for young players, if you see something, try and glue your eyes onto it, because it's so easy to lose it. And often winning a battle just comes down to being able to track an object without losing it. That's it, Brian. Who doesn't like planes? Planes are amazing. But a really good point about multiplayer versus single player is that ability, at least for me physiologically speaking, to induce some kind of adrenaline. Single player is pretty standard, I guess, although I've been doing it probably for thousands of hours now. Just crossed the front line. I'm heading straight for their airfield again. Right, so where are we? Ships off to that side. There's our ships shooting at something. No. That's the enemy shooting at our guys. Alright. And I've got a plane up ahead. What is that? What is that? And I've got a plane traversing from right to left. He's going across my crosshair. Where's he gone? Around now. There he is. Three aircraft in the sky. 4. 5. It's a battle. Okay, here we go. Late to the party. That's one of ours up there. And that's one of theirs there. It's a collision. It's a bit anticlimactic. Have I still got control? Well, he's a goner. I did hit him quite a bit. Let's land on this thing over here. This island. This can be Frog Island. I name it. Richard Branson gets his own island, now I get my own island. thing is, I've crashed in enemy territory, so it's going to be a long walk or a long swim to get back. Technically speaking, I can still get shot right down here. Get used to dying a lot. Oh, of course. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It happens less, but it's so frustrating. The amount of times I've just been flying along, everything's been totally fine, and then bam, I'm like got cannon shells flying through my airframe, and that's it. It's really frustrating when you've gone through the takeoff run, you've been flying for maybe 15 minutes, you haven't seen anyone, there's nothing going on, and then bam, you get hit. It does happen. Let's do one more. Let's start again. Right, so the system reckons that I got a plane, and I reckon that too. So there we go. I think even if there wasn't a collision, he still would have been shot down because I hit him with MG and with cannon from close range. Sometimes it does that. I think you got to wait for about 30 seconds or something before you can rejoin. I don't know, something like that. It's saying there's no yaks left at this airfield. Damn. 0 yak. Going to go for the default paint scheme. So I've got my gun convergence at 180 meters, 71% fuel, 1500 mg, that's 700 per gun, there's 2 mgs in the nose, and 120 cannon, that's 20mm cannon firing through the propeller boss. And I'm very far away from where I was, so I'm at the other end of the map now. Let's just have a look at the chat before we take off. So this airfield here is basically it's like a metro area, and you can see all the factories and airfield logistical stuff around the place. Alright guys, where to? Where to? So we're at the southern end of the map. We've got a Axis airfield sort of in the vicinity. We've got tanks. We've got tanks in the vicinity, and we've got a base remote vehicles. I think that means, I don't know what that means. Maybe a vehicle depot or something. And we've also got Allied tanks dead ahead. I might fly to the Allied tanks. And then sort of head halfway between the base, remote vehicles, and Vorontsov. Absolutely massive maps in IL-2. It's really one of the good things is that you've just got so much terrain to roam over. Very kind of realistic. Germans are winning slightly. They've got 1, 2, 3 targets left to destroy, and the Soviets have got 1, 2, 3, 4 targets left to destroy. Ideally what I'm looking to do is to take off, fly, find some action, achieve victory. If it's early on, find some more action, achieve victory. Basically go until I'm basically out of ammo or out of fuel, and then head back to the to an airfield and make a successful landing. That's what I'm looking to achieve. It very rarely pans out that way. However, usually end up crashing in a fireball in one of these pine forests. Alright, so we got the tanks up ahead, maybe about 1 o'clock. The Allied tanks, they're probably in that field there. Just passing a road. Of course, Allied tanks mean that there could be enemy ground attack aircraft and fighters right here. It's one of those things. Whenever you're near ground targets on either side, there could be aircraft. Rearward visibility is okay, but not as good as if you had a bubble canopy. I said to someone last week that I'm going to set up a Discord server this week, and of course now it's this week, and I've half set it up. It's more or less ready to go. I still got to finalize it, and then I don't know, publish a link or something. I've never used Discord before, so it's going to be kind of like an experiment. I don't know how much I'll use it myself, but at least it's a facility that'll be available there for anyone that wants to use it. Could be good for multiplayer scenarios. So, for example, if anyone wants to come for a fly with me, yeah, Discord might be useful for that. So if the Axis is going to take off at that airfield and then head for the Allied tanks that are behind me, they're probably going to be flying along here, pretty close to where I am now, on this kind of route here. So keeping my eyes peeled for aircraft coming my way. I think the terrain's pretty flat, and I'm going to descend a little bit and then put it back into auto cruise. This is a good dogfighting plane. This is a very twitchy plane. If you want to pitch, like in the blink of an eye, you can do it in this plane. I find that the cannons are no good at long distance, they're excellent at short distance. And the machine guns are pretty anemic, they're not very they don't have much effect, but you can reach out and hit an enemy at a pretty long distance, like 200 meters. Terrain's climbing a bit ahead. I find ideally you want to use the machine guns to weaken an enemy. Just say you're chasing a 109, you want to weaken it a bit, and then that'll slow it down, and then when you get in range you open up with the cannons. And I find if you aim a little bit higher than the aircraft, if you aim high, that'll ensure that the cannons hit. You need to aim a little bit high with the cannons, I find. And then pretty much one or two hits from the cannon in the right spot, and the 109 will catch fire. Zooming very low along this forest. Pretty amazing landscape. There's a bridge. Cleaned my monitor screen today, and I've got a dot that's stuck on the screen. I keep on thinking that it's a plane off in the distance. Bloody annoying. People watching in the chat. I'm just cruising along over this pine forest, almost at a Luftwaffe airbase. There it is off to the right, at about our 1 or 2 o'clock over there. There's a plane, do you see him? Do you see that? I'll keep an eye on him. Hopefully he hasn't seen me. He's probably taking off. There he is there. Seems to be circling. There he is. He's circling over the airfield so far. He's just loitering in the area, so I can't really go too close to him yet. Hopefully he's not going to see me. I'm pretty high, but that keeps me off the pine trees. Very easy for him to see me right now if he pays attention. Maybe I should just fly in there and blast him and take off, but I'll get hit by the flak is the thing. There he is there, he's still there doing his thing. I don't know, what should I do, guys? Should I attack? If I attack, I'm definitely going to hit by AAA. Maybe I'll just mosey on over a little bit closer. Getting into fights, prolonged fights near an enemy airfield is it's not the way to go. I'll demonstrate to you guys what happens when you fly over an enemy airfield. I might get lucky and the trees will block the flak, stop the flak from hitting me, but I guarantee you I'm going to get hit by flak as soon as I get over that field. Ideally I want to get on his tail without him noticing. It looks like it's probably going to be head to head, unfortunately. And about now he's going to be realising that there's a yak coming straight at him. Especially when the flare goes up and the flak takes off. So the flare will go up and the flak will go. Alright, I hit him, but he got the best of me. Maybe one more. I think I'll do one more and then I'll call it a day. Right, so I got full RPM, radiator's open, mixture's rich, got the lights on. the heck is he doing? Oh, he's coming in for a landing. Alright, we're up at the other end of the map this time. Let's head straight for the ship and the airbase. I don't really like to fly over the water because it makes me so exposed. Much easier for anyone to see me. If I stay over the forest, it seems more difficult, more concealed. So let's go to that airfield, see what kind of business we can drum up. I see an aircraft. Still see him. What is he though? I'll have to cross to get to him. He's probably a bomber going in low to go for our ship. This water can be quite deceptive. You can fly right into it because it's kind of reflective, and depth perception can be difficult when flying over this kind of still water. He's moving, he's going pretty fast. Haven't actually caught up to him at all. He's either a fighter or maybe a Ju-88. A bit small to be an 88, I think, maybe a 110. And of course there could be someone on my tail right now. That looks to be a 110. If so, that explains why he's going so fast. And I think he might have seen me by now. How do you take on a 110? You stay away from his rear gunner and you don't get in front of him. I think that's the way to go. Damn it. Looks like my engine's about to fail. How frustrating. And my ailerons aren't working too well right now, so turning is kind of difficult. They're there. Shit, I'm on his tail. Aileron's not working, mate. How frustrating. So what was that ahead of me? I think it was a BF-110, and as I was chasing it, it pitched upwards, and I think it had seen me, or maybe someone that was flying behind me had told it that I was chasing it, and then the 109 came up from behind. Damn. I'm going to have to do just one more. Bit of a numerical imbalance. 10 Soviet Union, 15 Germany. I've got to get at least one proper kill. I got a kill before, but it was kind of not how you want it. Alright, so there's no more ships left. There's a fortified position at Zavidovo, and there's the enemy airfield. So those enemies at that airfield would pretty much be going for the fortified position now. And the Germans have a fortified position as well at Klin, Gritskoye 0920. Alright, so we've got 109s in the area, we've probably got BF-110s. I'm not going to cross any water if I can help it, by and large. Any large bodies of water, I'll try and skirt around them. Makes me too unconcealed. In reason, though. This is in my territory. It's far away from the front lines. Should be okay. Of course, teamwork definitely helps. If you're fighting against two enemies that are working as a team, it's much harder to get a good outcome. It's a ship. So we still have one ship there. And there's a plane. Going in to attack the fortified position, no doubt. I think it's probably a 110, and it's probably that same 110 with the 109 escorting it somewhere over there somewhere. So what to do with the 110, don't get in front of it, stay below it and stay behind it, and blast it quickly and then get out of there before its buddy finds it. Is that a 110? Yes it is. And I got him, and now I'm going to try and keep my eye on him as best I can. Where is he? There he is. I shot him with both cannon and machine gun, but I don't know how well that did. And here's the trucks that he's going after. Let's do a shortcut right here. Where is he? Where is he? Shit! Where is he? Totally lost him. Oh no. Oh yes! There he is! There he is. Uh-oh. I've got company. He's just flat out trying to escape. He's going pretty fast. He's got his engine smoking, but that's not damage. That's just 100% power. He's trying to climb and escape. If he turned, I'd be able to get him. He knows what to do. He knows that I pretty much can't catch him in this situation unless he turns. And he could have a buddy sneaking up on us. Try and bring him down with the machine gun. What's he doing? Try and spook him a bit. Oh, I got him! I got him a bit. Come on, come on. He's trying to stall me out. And he's trying to stall me out and come down on me. There he is there. Let's just do a loop on this bugger. May not have been a good idea. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Might have to try and out-turn him now. He is... Have I got two of them on me? Fuel tank hit. Got to try and keep my turn as efficient as possible. What do we got here? That's a 109. He's smoking. I got him. And there's another. No, that's a yak. Alright, the plot thickens. This is good. So, there's the yak, there's the 109. Let's finish off that bloody 109 and then go back to base. Try and hit him with the cannon. And he's a goner! Ha ha ha! Victory for the frog. Alright, that was nice. It sort of does take a while to warm up a bit, and I've got a fuel tank leak, so I think I might head back to base. Maybe call it a day, or maybe swap out for a fresh aircraft. As I was saying a little bit earlier, my strategy with this plane is to keep the machine gun and the cannon on different buttons. And when the 109 was far away, climbing, accelerating, getting further away from me, I was sniping and taking pot shots, and I was trying to weaken him a bit and also spook him into turning. If I can spook him into turning, then I can catch him. But if he's going in a straight line, even climbing, I can't catch him. See that fuel leak going out of the starboard wing there? That's fuel leaking out of the wing. Still outnumbered, 16 German, 11 Soviet Union. So I got credited for that kill. The other guy probably got some hits as well, and I got 15 points, whatever that means. I think that counts towards, maybe it comes off the enemy's total points or something. Looks like the Axis is winning slightly. They've got that base remote vehicles, got the Wehrmacht column, they've got the German troops. Still left for the Allies to take out. Axis have just got to take out 2 targets, Soviet tanks and Soviet defence. That'll be pretty easy for them, I think, especially the defence. Where do I want to go? I think I'll go here if... No, it's pretty close to the... No, where do I want to go? I'll go here if possible. Nope. Don't have the right aircraft. I could go here, I guess, and defend the tanks. That might be the way to go. It is a pity that you can't fly over the city itself. It's out of the map. You can see it, but you can't fly over it. Going with the Yak-1 again. To a large extent, because each plane is different, and I find if I stick to one plane I can get more out of it than if I'm chopping and changing between different planes. Like if I was to jump in a Spitfire and then the next mission jump in a FW-190, they're completely different style of flying, so something to be aware of. You can do it, but it's more challenging to switch between. Alright, got this nice big airfield here. Just going to take off straight ahead, I think. That guy's got some rockets. You can. I hope you guys can hear me okay. If you can't hear me, do let me know in the chat. Stuff like that. The scenery around here is really good, and I think this is a little bit what Bodenplatte map is going to look like, I would say. Sort of a Western European look to it. Heading straight for the tanks, and just going to hang around there and defend those tanks. There's also a Wehrmacht column to the east of the tanks, and a column means trucks. I could probably shoot that column up. I'm just going to press the rocket button and make sure I'm not carrying any rockets. No, good. Because you don't have external views, it's always good to check these things. Like an IL-2 and BOM. That's not a bad idea, considering that that's what we really need to do now. We don't so much need fighters, we need to take out the ground targets to win. That's the thing, bombers win the game, but fighters are kind of more action-packed in many ways. Certainly a lot faster action, a lot faster to get to the target and the fight and that sort of thing. Cover more distance quickly. If you have a look out the window off to the 1 o'clock position, there's a river going straight ahead. That river pretty much leads to the tanks according to what the map shows. So there's that river, there's the tanks. After that, I think I'll loiter around the tanks, and I might fly off to the Axis airfield. Don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Remember what happened last time I flew to that airfield though, there was just that 109 circling around the field, so that was not very good fun actually. There's one of the tanks down there. 2 tanks, I see 2 tanks. So I'm right over the tanks right now, and unless they're above me, there's no enemies here. What do I do now? go to the enemy airfield down there, I could go to the enemy tank column up there, or I could hang around these tanks. I see an aircraft. Here, Stuka. Yeah. See how I waited until I was pretty close to open up with my cannons. Also slowed right down. I went to idle engine power as I got closer. So you want to get there as fast as possible, and then you want to cut the engine power basically. Still got plenty of ammo left, still got plenty of fuel left, undamaged by the looks of it. I don't think that Stuka would have destroyed any of the tanks. The tanks down there off the wing, and down there as well. One of them down there. Let's have a quick check of the chat. Yeah, that is an excellent idea. Fragster says if you stay between their airfield and where they're going, look for people climbing hopefully they're busy looking at their instruments. Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's sort of, yeah, I totally agree. That's sort of where that Stuka was. I believe it was coming out of that airfield, heading for the tanks. So if I stay in between there, maybe 2 kilometers away from the airfield, that should do it. The enemy has completed all of their assigned, so I've got 5 minutes left, basically. See if we can get some more kills before the mission ends. Right, roughly heading to the Axis airfield now. Yeah, I'll stay in this middle region. I won't totally fly right up to the airfield. I'll stay a good maybe 2-3 kilometers away and just see if I can see anything in that direction that's taking off. It's probably the best way to go. Crossing the front line now. There's the termination of a river, which I saw on the map. That looks to be about 3 kilometers away from the airfield. I'll fly up to that and then I'll just stay around there. That's a good landmark if any. There's not much out there, but there's a few rivers that you can navigate by. At 1619 in the centre of that square, close to sub-square 4, that's where I'll go. Very rarely see anything up high unless it's shooting. Usually I'll see a black dot on the horizon. The horizon's very light as well. The higher you look, the darker it gets, and if you look on the horizon, it's the lightest part of the sky, as per real life. So easiest to see things that are on the horizon as opposed to straight up. Having said that, when I do see things that are high up, it's usually because there's some tracer going off, there's some shooting going on, and that can attract your attention from miles away. And we had 5 minutes to go before the mission ends. That might change my behaviour a bit. I might get a bit more reckless and go a little bit closer to the airfield. There's probably about 2 minutes of the mission left. looking for one final victory. I want to shoot down a 109. But that's the end. Well, guys, that's pretty much going to do it. If you've enjoyed this, and if you're getting some value out of this, smash the thumbs up and become a subscriber and become a member of the channel, or a supporter on Patreon. It really does help. Thanks everyone for tuning in and joining me on this adventure, and I'll catch you for the next one probably tomorrow. Thank you. Bye for now.